The moment I hit send, I felt relief. 2 years of frustration finally out of my chest. Then my phone buzzed. And the name at the top of the screen wasn't Jason. It was Mark. My boss. And the message I had just sent was never supposed to reach him. For about 3 seconds, my brain refused to process it. I just stared at the screen, blinking, waiting for it to somehow change. Like maybe my eyes were tired. Maybe the contact would switch back. But it didn't. The message was still there. 3 long paragraphs. Everything I had been thinking about him for months. Every insult. Every complaint. Every angry sentence. All sitting in a chat window. With my boss. My heart started pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. I scrolled up, trying to understand how I screwed this up. Earlier that afternoon, Mark had messaged me about a project deadline. That conversation was still open. When I got home, I never switched chats. I just started typing. And now the worst message I had ever written was sitting in his inbox. Delivered. Read. My phone buzzed again. A new message appeared. Wow. That was it. Just one word. Wow. I felt like the floor disappeared under me. The thing about anger is that it feels good in the moment. That message I sent? I meant every word. When I was typing it, it felt amazing. Like pressure finally leaving my chest. I had just gotten home from work. Still angry from a meeting earlier that day. Mark had called out my performance in front of the entire team. Not yelling. Not even rude. Just calm. That calm tone that somehow makes everything worse. He leaned back in his chair and said, "I'm starting to wonder if you're the right fit for this role." In front of 12 people. Nobody said anything. Everyone just looked down at their laptops. I smiled. Because that's what you do. You smile. You nod. You survive the meeting. But inside I was furious. 2 years of little comments like that. 2 years of feeling like I was constantly being tested. 2 years of pretending it didn't bother me. So when I got home, I opened my phone. And I started venting to Jason. Or at least, I thought I was venting to Jason. I wrote things I had never said out loud. I called Mark incompetent. I said he had no idea how to lead people. I said the only reason he got promoted was because he was good at making the right people like him. Then I said something worse. Something personal. Something cruel. The kind of thing you only say when you're angry and you believe the person will never see it. And then I hit send. Now my boss had read every word. The typing bubble appeared again. My hands started shaking. Another message came through. I assumed this wasn't meant for me. My mouth went dry. Of course it wasn't meant for him. But that didn't change anything. He had already seen it. Every insult. Every accusation. Every ugly sentence. I started typing a reply. Deleted it. Typed something else. Deleted that too. Finally I wrote. "I'm really sorry. That message wasn't meant for you." The typing bubble appeared again. Then disappeared. Then appeared again. I watched those 3 little dots like they were a ticking bomb. Finally the message came through. I figured. And then nothing. No anger. No yelling. Just silence. Silence can be worse than anger. I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the message on the screen. I kept imagining different outcomes. Maybe he'd fire me. Maybe HR would call. Maybe my team would find out. Maybe he'd forward the message to everyone. My brain kept replaying the moment I realized the mistake. That drop in my stomach. That wave of panic. That instant understanding that something irreversible had just happened. I checked my email at least 10 times before going to bed. Nothing. Which somehow made it worse. The next morning I woke up with a knot in my chest. I checked my phone immediately. No messages. No emails. Everything looked normal. But it didn't feel normal. Around 10 a.m., I got a calendar notification. Meeting with Mark. 11 a.m. Just the two of us. My stomach dropped again. There it was. When I walked into the meeting room, he was already sitting there. Calm as always. Laptop closed. Hands folded on the table. He looked up when I came in. Morning. I sat down. For a few seconds, neither of us spoke. Then he said, "I read your message." My chest tightened. I nodded. I figured. Another pause. Then he said something that surprised me. I didn't like reading it. Fair. I nodded again. But, he continued, I'd rather know what people actually think. I didn't know what to say. My brain had prepared for anger. For yelling. Maybe even for getting fired. But not for this. He asked me about the team. About communication. About the problems I thought existed. And for the first time since I had started working there, we had a real conversation. Not a performance review. Not corporate language. Just honesty. It lasted about 40 minutes. When it was over, he stood up. Let's move forward. And that was it. Or at least, that's what I thought. For a few weeks, things felt almost normal. Meetings continued. Projects moved forward. Nobody said anything about the message. But something had changed. Subtle things. Mark stopped asking for my opinion in meetings. Stopped assigning me to certain projects. When leadership discussions happened, I wasn't included anymore. At first I told myself I was imagining it. But then a coworker said something. We were getting coffee after work. He asked, "So, what happened between you and Mark?" My stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" He hesitated. Then said, "I heard you two had a pretty intense conversation." I didn't ask how he knew. I already suspected. Workplaces are small ecosystems. Information spreads. Even when nobody officially says anything. About 3 months later, a promotion opened up. A role I had been working toward for almost a year. My manager told me I was a strong candidate. I went through the interviews. Everything seemed promising. Then the decision came back. They chose someone else. Someone with less experience. When I asked for feedback, the answer was careful. Very corporate. Concerns about leadership alignment. That phrase stuck in my head. Leadership alignment. It didn't take a genius to understand what that meant. The message. The one I had sent. The one my boss had read. The one that revealed exactly what I thought of him. After that, things slowly changed. Not dramatically. Just enough. Projects got smaller. Responsibilities shifted. Conversations became polite. Professional. But distant. Like something fragile had broken and no one wanted to acknowledge it. 6 months later, I resigned. No big confrontation. No dramatic exit. Just a quiet email. A short conversation. And a cardboard box with my desk things. Sometimes I still think about that moment. The moment I hit send. The moment my brain realized the name at the top of the screen. 3 seconds earlier. And none of it would have happened. My career at that company might have gone completely differently. I might have gotten that promotion. I might still be working there.